Welcome back to the Shigeaki podcast, where age is just a number, and every day is a new chance to grow stronger, sharper, and more alive. I'm Dr. Mark Hyman, and today I want to tell you about a man named Thomas. He's 68, retired, pretty active. He walks his dog every morning, avoids red meat, drinks his oat milk, and swears by tofu stir-fry. But here's the strange part. Last month, Thomas came to see me because he noticed something was off. His thighs felt weaker, his arms looked thinner, and climbing stairs, just one flight, left him winded and sore for days. His diet? Perfect, he said. His habits? Healthy. But somehow, he was losing muscle faster than ever before. That's when I asked him a question that surprised him, and maybe will surprise you too. Could your healthy foods be causing the muscle loss? Before we go deeper, I want to introduce someone who's lived this truth far longer than I have. A man who has personally cared for more than 100,000 patients in his lifetime. A man who kept practicing medicine well into his hundreds. And more than that, he's a living example of graceful aging, of strength with compassion. Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara, neurologist, longevity expert, and, at over 100 years old, the heart of this podcast.
Thank you. Mark, I've asked it many times myself. You know, here in Japan, we have a saying, even clear water can drown you if you drink too fast. Healthy things, when misunderstood, can quietly do harm. I've seen so many patients, men and women in their 60s, 70s, even 90s, who lost muscle, not because of age, not because they weren't exercising, but because their food worked against them.
That's exactly what I want to explore today. Because so many of our listeners, seniors in the US, Canada, the UK, are doing their best. They cut fat, cut salt, cut sugar. They drink almond milk instead of dairy. They eat low-fat yogurt, tofu, brown rice. But what if some of those choices, made with the best intentions, are actually draining their strength?
Yes, and especially as we age, our body changes how it uses food. After 60, even if you eat the same meals you did at 40, your digestion slows, enzyme levels fall, and nutrient absorption drops. The foods that once gave you energy and muscle now may simply pass through your body unused. Or worse, they may even cause inflammation, quietly weakening your legs, hips, and hands without you realizing it.
It's a silent epidemic, sarcopenia, the gradual loss of muscle mass. And by the way, sarcopenia doesn't just make it harder to walk or carry groceries. It increases your risk of falls, fractures, loss of independence, and even cognitive decline. And what most people don't know is that it's heavily influenced not just by how much you eat or how often you move, but what types of food you're putting into your body and how you prepare them.
You said something powerful earlier, Mark. Could your healthy foods be the problem? That is the heart of today's message. Because in Japan, we don't just look at what someone eats. We ask, how is it grown? How is it cooked? What is it paired with? At what time of day is it eaten? These small details, when ignored, can turn a nourishing food into a muscle-sapping one.
Exactly. So here's what we're going to do. In today's episode, we'll walk you through 5 everyday foods that are commonly eaten by seniors. Foods that may seem healthy, even recommended by doctors, but when eaten the wrong way, can actually accelerate muscle loss. But don't worry, we're not here to scare you. For each food, we'll show you how to fix the mistake. Simple, actionable tips. Things you can change starting today without giving up the foods you love.
And I will share how we handle these same foods in Japan. I have treated thousands of patients over the decades, from young soldiers after the war to centenarians in Tokyo today. And what I've learned is this: longevity is not about restriction. It is about harmony, balance in nutrients, timing, and preparation.
So whether you're someone who eats grilled chicken every day, drinks soy milk, chooses low-fat yogurt, loves your white rice, or ends the day with a banana before bed, this episode is for you. And if you find value in today's conversation, If it makes you think differently about your food or feel more hopeful about your body, then please like this episode, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell icon so you never miss a lesson that could change your health or someone you love. Let's begin with one of the most misunderstood healthy foods out there, lean meat. Now, don't get me wrong, protein is essential for preserving muscle after 60. But here's the catch. The way most people prepare their lean meat may be doing more harm than good. Think about how you've seen it served. Plain grilled chicken breast, no skin, no oil, no seasoning. Just dry white meat on a plate. Sounds clean, right? But for seniors, especially those with slower digestion, that kind of dry protein is a muscle-wasting trap.
That's very true, Mark. When I was still practicing medicine in my 90s, I met many older patients who ate perfectly lean diets, yet they kept losing strength. The problem wasn't the protein amount, but how their body was absorbing it. As we age, our stomach acid and digestive enzymes decline. That means even if you eat enough meat, your body might not be breaking it down properly, especially if it's dry and stripped of healthy fats.
Exactly. Protein needs partners, fats, acids, and enzymes to be digested and absorbed. And here's what often gets missed. When you remove all the fat, you also remove the fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, and K2, which are crucial for muscle recovery and bone support.
In Japan, we rarely eat plain meat. Even when we serve lean fish or chicken, we often prepare it with miso, sesame oil, or a light soy-based broth. These additions aren't just for flavor. They actually make digestion easier and help the nutrients enter the bloodstream more effectively.
That's the key, how the meat is cooked, combined, and consumed. I once had a patient who ate grilled turkey breast every single night. No seasoning, no fat, no sides. He thought he was being disciplined, but his body wasn't getting what it needed. After we added a little avocado, a drizzle of olive oil, and steamed greens with lemon, his leg cramps disappeared in weeks.
So to our listeners, if you're eating lean meat, please don't eat it dry and lonely.
Exactly. Here's what you can do. Add healthy fat like avocado, olive oil, or tahini. Use acidic ingredients, lemon juice, miso, or vinegar to support digestion. Cook gently, poach, simmer, or stir fry instead of grilling dry, and never fear flavor. Herbs and broth do more than please the tongue, they please your cells.
Remember, it's not just what you eat, but what your body can use. And when you prepare protein with wisdom, your muscles respond with strength.
All right, the second food we need to talk about is one that many health-conscious seniors lean on: soy. Tofu, soy milk, edamame, plant-based protein heroes, right? But here's what most people don't realize. How you eat soy matters just as much as what it is.
Yes. Soy is deeply rooted in Japanese culture, but in our tradition, we rarely consume soy in its raw or unfermented form. When people outside Japan eat soy, they often reach for soy milk, tofu, or soy-based protein powders, all of which are usually unfermented.
That's the problem. Unfermented soy contains anti-nutrients like phytates and trypsin inhibitors, which can interfere with your body's ability to absorb zinc, iron, and calcium, 3 minerals critical for maintaining strong muscles and bones after 60. And if your gut is already a little compromised, like it often is with aging, that soy protein boost might be doing more harm than good.
I've seen many patients who switched to soy milk, thinking it was a healthier option than dairy. But within months, they complained of fatigue, joint discomfort, and, most notably, loss of leg strength. Their bodies were not getting the nutrients they needed to regenerate muscle tissue.
That's a crucial point, because when we talk about muscle health, we usually focus on protein. But if your body can't access the supporting minerals, your muscles won't recover, no matter how much tofu you eat.
In Japan, we traditionally ferment soy. Natto, miso, and tempeh are staples in our diet. Fermentation breaks down the anti-nutrients and releases beneficial enzymes, making soy much more digestible and nutrient-rich. Natto, for instance, is rich in vitamin K2, which helps shuttle calcium into bones and supports muscle contraction.
I know natto has a strong flavor and a strong smell, but it's a powerhouse. And miso soup is one of the gentlest, most nourishing ways to introduce fermented soy into your diet.
It's not about eating a lot of soy, it's about eating it wisely. Even 2 or 3 servings of fermented soy per week can make a meaningful difference in muscle preservation.
So, if you're currently drinking soy milk every day or relying heavily on tofu, here's how to upgrade. Swap soy milk for almond milk, oat milk, or tempeh-based smoothies. Use miso paste in soups or dressings. Try natto once or twice a week. Mix it with mustard, green onions, or a bit of rice to ease the flavor. And always rotate your proteins. Don't rely solely on soy.
Food should nourish, not neutralize. And as we age, our digestion becomes more sensitive. We must respect that sensitivity and choose forms of food that the body welcomes.
Well said. And to anyone listening, if soy is a part of your routine, it doesn't mean you need to give it up. Just give it a little fermented love, and your muscles will thank you for years to come. Let's move on to the third food on our list, one that's been marketed as heart healthy for decades: low-fat dairy. Low-fat milk, fat-free yogurt, reduced fat cheese. Sound familiar? But here's the problem. For seniors, especially those over 60, cutting the fat from dairy often means cutting out the very nutrients that protect and rebuild muscle.
That's true. For many years, people were taught to fear fat, particularly saturated fat. But the truth is, when you remove fat from dairy, you also remove the fat-soluble vitamins, A, D, E, and K2. These are vital for muscle function, calcium absorption, and even energy metabolism. And worse, low-fat dairy products are often processed and filled with added sugar to improve taste, further increasing inflammation in older adults.
Exactly. Vitamin D is especially important for muscle strength. It supports protein synthesis and helps regulate neuromuscular function. And guess where vitamin D naturally exists in milk? In the fat. I've had patients tell me, I drink milk every day, but my legs still feel weak. When I ask what kind, low fat, of course. So they're getting calcium maybe, but not the cofactors needed to absorb or use that calcium effectively.
In Japan, dairy is not traditionally a large part of the diet. But when it is used, especially in modern households, we often choose full-fat yogurt or small portions of organic milk, and we eat it as part of a balanced meal, not in excess. I remember one elderly woman in her 80s who switched from fat-free yogurt to full-fat Greek yogurt with a sprinkle of nuts. Within weeks, her digestion improved, her mood stabilized, and her muscle cramps reduced.
It's amazing how small changes like that can make such a big difference. And it's not just about vitamins. Fat also helps with satiety, hormone balance, and immune regulation, all of which play a role in muscle recovery and strength. So, what can you do if you're used to low-fat dairy? Switch to full-fat, organic dairy if tolerated, milk, yogurt, or cheese. Try goat or sheep milk products, which are easier to digest for some people. Or explore non-dairy alternatives like coconut yogurt, almond milk, or cashew cheese. But make sure they include added calcium, vitamin D, and healthy fats.
And remember, it's not about excess. Seniors don't need large portions. A small bowl of rich, nourishing yogurt is more powerful than a tall glass of watery, nutrient-stripped milk.
That's the beauty of aging well. It's not about eating more, it's about eating smarter. And in the case of dairy, sometimes more fat means more strength.
Balance is the key. Fat is not your enemy. It may just be the missing friend your muscles have been waiting for.
The fourth food on our list may surprise some people because it's not usually associated with muscle loss. I'm talking about refined carbohydrates, white rice, white bread, pasta, pastries, the soft foods that so many people eat daily. But here's the hidden danger. These carbs create an inflammatory environment in the body, and when inflammation goes up, muscle recovery slows down.
Yes, I have seen this many times in my older patients. They lose their appetite for meat or vegetables and turn to rice or noodles, easy to eat, easy to chew. But over time, their muscles begin to waste and their energy fades. The body begins to burn muscle for energy when blood sugar rises and crashes too often. This is especially dangerous in older adults who may already have low muscle reserves.
Exactly. Refined carbs digest quickly, spike insulin, and promote chronic low-grade inflammation. That inflammation doesn't always cause pain, but it interferes with your body's ability to repair tissue, including muscle. And when muscle breaks down and doesn't rebuild properly, you start to feel it. You can't get up from the couch as easily. Your legs feel heavier. You start avoiding stairs, not because you're lazy, but because you're losing strength.
In Japan, rice is a staple, but we rarely eat it plain. It is often mixed with barley, millet, black rice, or fermented soy. These additions slow digestion and reduce the insulin response, and we also keep portions small. A bowl the size of your palm is more than enough.
That's such a wise approach. Instead of cutting carbs completely, we change their form and timing. I always tell my patients, don't fear carbs, just respect them. Here are a few simple upgrades anyone can make. Replace white rice with brown rice, quinoa, or barley. Swap white bread for sprouted grain bread or whole rye. Use buckwheat soba noodles instead of white pasta. And most importantly, pair carbs with protein and fat to slow absorption.
One of my patients, a 76-year-old retired teacher, once told me she felt weaker every afternoon, even though she ate a good lunch. It turned out her lunch was just white rice and pickles. We changed it to half brown rice, some steamed fish, and miso soup. 3 months later, she was walking farther and sleeping better. Small changes, big return.
That's the beauty of functional food. It doesn't just fill you up, it builds you up. And the muscles you rebuild today are what protect your brain, balance, and independence tomorrow.
Yes, in our later years, food becomes more than fuel. It becomes medicine. And with refined carbs, it's not about removal. It's about replacing the empty with the nourishing.
Now, let's talk about something that almost everyone thinks is healthy: fruit, especially bananas, grapes, or a sweet apple before bed. I've had countless patients tell me, but doctor, Hyman, it's just fruit. It's natural. Yes, it's natural. But when you eat high-sugar fruits late at night, you may be disrupting the very process your body uses to repair muscle.
That's a common issue, Mark. In Japan, many people used to eat fruit after dinner as a light dessert. But in my later years of practice, we advised older patients to limit fruit intake after sunset, especially bananas, mangoes, or melons, because during the night, your body relies on growth hormone, GH, to repair muscles and tissues. But if blood sugar is high, GH is suppressed, and your muscle recovery slows down.
Exactly. Your body treats sugar, whether it's from soda or a ripe banana, the same way when it spikes blood glucose. And high blood sugar at night doesn't just disrupt hormone balance. It also affects sleep quality, making it harder to reach deep, restorative sleep, the stage when most muscle repair happens.
I remember one gentleman, 81 years old, who told me he had muscle cramps every morning. He thought it was dehydration, but I learned he was eating 2 bananas before bed to prevent nighttime hunger. Once we replaced that with a small kiwi and warm barley tea, the cramps stopped. His sleep improved, and over the next few months, his legs grew noticeably stronger.
That's a perfect example. Kiwi, by the way, is one of the best fruits for sleep support. It's lower in sugar and high in antioxidants like vitamin C. And tart cherry juice is another great choice. It boosts melatonin naturally, helping you fall asleep faster and stay in deep sleep longer. Here's what I recommend if you love having something sweet in the evening. Eat fruit at least 2 to 3 hours before bed, not right before. Choose low-sugar fruits like kiwi, berries, or a few slices of apple with almond butter. Try a small cup of tart cherry juice, unsweetened. Or consider herbal options like barley tea or chamomile to soothe the body without sugar.
And remember, Nighttime is when the body heals. We must not interfere with that natural wisdom. Eating sugary fruits after dark is like turning off the lights in your body's repair center.
Beautifully said. So, if you've been eating fruit before bed, thinking it's a light snack, it might be time to rethink that habit. Not because fruit is bad, but because timing is everything, especially after 60.
Yes, age teaches us this simple truth. It's not about what you take in. It's about what your body can do with it when it needs to.
So, here we are, my friend. 5 foods, simple, common, and even labeled healthy, that, when eaten the wrong way, can slowly chip away at your strength. And yet, none of them are villains. Not soy, not bread, not fruit. They only become harmful when we forget how our bodies change with age.
Yes, the foods didn't betray us. We misunderstood them. In my early years of medicine, we believed nutrition was about calories, protein, and vitamins. But as I grew older, I saw something deeper. Food is also about timing, preparation, and compatibility with the body's natural rhythms. Especially after 60, the body doesn't just need fuel, it needs support. And support comes not from eating more, but eating with wisdom.
Exactly. That's the heart of this conversation. I've seen patients turn their lives around, not by overhauling their entire diet, but by making small, intentional shifts, adding a little fat to their meals, swapping white rice for barley, eating earlier in the evening, choosing fermented foods that speak to their gut. These are not radical changes. They're subtle realignments with what the body actually wants.
In Japan, we often say, to treat the body first, listen to it. Muscle loss is not always loud. It shows up in whispers, slower steps, weaker grip, shorter walks. And if we listen carefully, the body is always asking, please help me hold on to what I still have. And through food, we can answer that call.
You've been listening to the Shigeaki podcast, where movement is medicine, and age is no excuse to stop becoming stronger. Subscribe if this episode reminded you of what's still possible. Share it with a friend who thinks it's too late to get stronger. They need this. Leave a comment or review. Tell us how your body responded to just 5 minutes of intention. Thank you.